Let's make my Quadrina quilt pattern using 40 10-inch squares. For today's video, I will be making the throw size quilt measuring at 48 inches by 60 inches. This pattern is available as a free PDF in 5 quilt sizes: baby, throw, twin, queen, and king, which I will link down below in the video's description. For the fabrics, I am using Florence by Quadrina Roxella for our gallery fabrics. Now let's get started. With each 10-inch square, cut one 3 3/4 inch by 9-inch rectangle, one 3 3/4 inch by 5 3/4 inch rectangle, and one 6 1/4 inch square. Once again, all of those measurements will be linked down below in that free PDF pattern. But once everything is cut, select two 6 1/4 inch squares in mixed prints. With the lighter fabric on the wrong side, draw a 45-degree diagonal with a fabric marking tool. Place the two on top of each other, right sides together, and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance on both sides of that line you just drew. Afterwards, with a rotary cutter or fabric scissors, cut on that line that you drew and create two half square triangles measuring at 5 3/4 inch square. First, take one of those half square triangles and whatever print that is on the bottom, take a matching 3 3/4 inch by 5 3/4 inch rectangle and sew it to the top of the block, leaving you with a 5 3/4 inch by 9-inch rectangle. Then you will take the matching 3 3/4 inch by 9-inch rectangle and sew it to the left side, leaving you with a 9-inch square. Now, since we created those two half square triangles, you must make the print inverse of your block. Then all you have to do is repeat this step until you have 40 quilt blocks. Now, this pattern is set on point. So for the throw size, you'll need to select 9 quilt blocks, place them on point, and cut them in half vertically, straight down the middle. Keep your piles separate as it will make the layout section much easier. Now that all of your blocks are completed, it is time to lay your quilt out. Here is what the block looks like. It's an illusion of a square in a square. You'll repeat this pattern on point. And the only hard part is paying close attention to your setting triangle directions. Please use the illustration within the free PDF for a better understanding, and then you will sew your blocks together, creating diagonal rows, and then lastly sew those diagonal rows together to complete the quilt top. If you are a perfectionist quilter, you will not like this pattern that is set on point because the setting triangles will be a tad shorter, roughly 1/4 inches. I like creating a little waist as possible, plus we haven't done a on point setting, and I thought this pattern looked really cool for it. But those setting triangles, those corners will get hidden within the binding. So in my eyes, it's harmless, and this will not be a show quilt. But if you do like the pattern, but you're not a fan of the on-point setting, do not cut any of the blocks in half and just lay your quilt blocks out in a standard fashion. There are no rules. You can do whatever you would like. But here is what my quilt top looks like all finished. For the backing, I am using a print from the same collection. Then for the thread choice, I am going with glide threads in the color Split Pea. And here is what my quilt looks like all quilted out. For my Longarm quilters, I chose Loop the Loop from Urban Elements, which I will link down below in the video's description. I did size it down to 7 inches tall. But once again, this pattern is available as the free PDF in 5 quilt sizes: baby, throw, twin, queen, and king. I do hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing quilt project.